Hey Wesley, what's up, brother?
Oh man, if I was any better or bigger, I'd be twins, Randy.
Well, you can't be better, and you're pretty good size, boy. So there we are. So maybe you are twins. Maybe you just didn't know
I think I ate mine in the womb.
it. No, you may have. That's awesome. We were together a couple weeks ago. Now here we are back on recording some videos or some podcasts again. What a
What's
life, huh?
funny is I'm still catching up from all that.
Oh man, yeah, that was a long week when I head out. I headed out, I should say, Sunday morning early and didn't get back till Friday evening late. Uh, and with what we was doing with Ben and then I had a trade show right after that, which I hit the ground running. The second I hit the hotel, dumped my junk and went. Yeah, I didn't get a lot done. I'm usually pretty good at that, but that was a tough week. So, but
Yeah, crazy stuff. So we got a great guest today. We're going back to the industry, and we've got Mark Byler. And boy, I got to tell you, I think he's going to be a lot more interesting than listening to us jaw on.
well, I don't know. You and I find ourselves pretty interesting.
We do, we do.
Yeah. Yeah. Our wives don't. At least that's what they've said. But anyway, why don't we just stop and go get Mark? What do you think?
Yeah, let's get Mark.
Let's do Mark.
All
All
right.
right. See ya. Hey, Mark. How you doing, brother? You're looking good, man.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, again, it does after my producer, director, buddy pal, bodyguard, food stealer, Wes Wyatt. It doesn't take a lot to look great. So there you go. He's
Flying
gonna
out
cut.
my eyes, that was just saying.
Oh, well, he's saying that in the background, so I'm only getting ahead of him. So, well, welcome to the show. Appreciate you being on Building Wins Live, buddy.
Hey, it's good to be here, Randy, and look forward to this for a while. I heard a lot about you and what you do, and just looking forward to chatting with you and yeah, see where it goes.
Perfect. Well, and I love you know all aspects of what we do. Wes and I do together, and as he had mentioned, we're going back to the industry today because we wander out of the industry sometimes, even though it's really not, because building wins encompasses everything, right? So if you're a book author or a coach or a speaker, that's still all about building wins, and it all fits. But I really love going back to the heart of what I do and have done for a long time. And it's great to talk to fellow pros in the industry. So, I know you've been around a while in the post frame building industry. Why don't you're the owner of Built Right Buildings. Why don't you give us a little background on who Mark Byler is, if you don't mind?
Yep. Pretty much grew up in the business. My father started the company in 1982 in Southwest Missouri, and in 1990 he decided he wanted to be a dairy farmer. Don't know why, but he sold the company to my great uncle, and he went into the farm business. So, not about 94, I was about 14 years old. I went to work for my great uncle, and pretty much worked for him off and on until worked for him full time until I was about 22. I started my own concrete business and did custom concrete flat work for a few years, and then my great uncle got sick and had a lung transplant.
Hmm.
And at about 2010, I went back to work for him, and he passed away in 2011, and I bought the business at that point.
Gotcha.
So pretty much from the time I was 14 till the time I was, well, till now, really, I'm 43 years old now. So I've been in this building business a long time. I've seen a lot of changes. When I started, we were nailing metal with, or putting metal on with nails, and so there's a lot of things that have changed over these past, I hate to even guess how many years it is, but 20 plus years I've been
Right.
doing this, and maybe longer, maybe it's 30 plus. Man.
Yeah, I was gonna
Anyway,
say I'm pretty good at math, but I was gonna let that one go because you're the guest. No,
yeah,
it's
so it's exciting. I think the industry today is as exciting as it's ever been. I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty out there, obviously, with high interest rates and some of this unrest in the world, but I think with the advance of the barnuminium industry and what that brought to the table, and the interest in timber framing and so on, the industry right now is in a very good spot, I feel.
Well, I think you're right. I know you're right. The I've been doing this for I use the term the hash or the mantra 4+ decades because it's all of that and a little because I'm old. But I got a little vanity left, so if I 4+ makes it sound like I started when I was 10 and so I just turned 50, which I didn't. But be that as it may, I've been around like you said. I remember the days you talked about neoprene nails, right? And
Mhm.
I remember the first time somebody suggested they wanted to use screws, fasteners, which is a product I sell lots of and something that's near and dear to my heart. But it was like, I don't, we nail. We don't use screws. What are you talking about? So I go way back in that day and that was before you had solid sawn and that's all you had, right? There was no laminated and nailed and glued and all the alternatives like post protector or permacolumn or sturdy walls or any of that stuff. It was just stick a pole in the ground with a little concrete and and you build a building. And where I'm going with this, I want to talk about is your take on I just had an article published in Frame Builder News that I do some writing for called "It's Not Your Father's Oldsmobile," which goes an off take of the old Oldsmobile ad back many years ago. And I think that's so true today because you kind of alluded to it. Post frame has grown by leaps and bounds, not only in just the size of the industry, but the types of things you can do. What are you seeing? What's the trends you're seeing? Like you said, barn dominiums. What other things is Built Right doing that's really unique, say to 10, 15 years ago?
Trends, biggest changes for us is going from what you mentioned, is taking that 6x6 post and putting it in the ground to pier systems and laminated posts, and essentially taking a structure that had a pretty limited lifespan because of wood in the ground to something that really, you get that out of the ground, your moisture issues are gone, and now you have something that the lifespan, I mean, it's really indefinite because of
Mm-hmm.
that. And so that's one of the trends that, we've been slow to adopt it. And because I don't know if it's our background, we just hate change, it seems like. But as we see this trend growing, and we're pushing more and more towards that, uh, keeping everything above the ground. We do pier systems, we pour in place, either have bolt-on brackets or the wet set brackets, whatever it is. But that's really the biggest one. I think the biggest change that we've made in the last couple of years is going from that, no options, you put your post in the ground, to, this is a better idea. It's a little more money, but for longevity and for the future in mind, this is the best option. Get that post out of the ground, pour it with concrete, do that permacolumn bracket, wet set bracket, whatever it might be, and do it that way. So to me, that's a huge improvement in the post building industry in the world, and in that market is giving that option.
So we're building better buildings, obviously, longer longevity or buildings with longevity, but we're also, lack of a better term, but we're building prettier buildings too, right? I mean, they're
Oh
they're
man,
they're not just the again. I go back in the day when we didn't even put overhangs on buildings. I used to build buildings back a long time ago, and you had a one couple inch, 2 inch, 3 inch steel that overhung, and no just a rake trim on the end, a couple slide doors and a walk door, and that was it. I mean, it was pretty plain Jane. I don't want to say it was a throwaway barn because it wasn't, and it was real money in real dollars at the time. But that's very few buildings today, right? Even the typical ag building is dialed up a little bit, at least a little bit on the front. They throw a little brick, they do something. So,
yes.
in that's really added to the appeal to expanding the industry, right? Because people that maybe would not have used post frame in the past will now use post frame because they don't have what they would call the typical pole barn, right?
Yeah. Well, that I think is, we've discovered it really varies a lot in locations. So we've got multiple locations across Missouri, and um, southern Missouri, for instance, there are a lot more buildings without overhangs because people don't want to spend that money. Up here in northwest Missouri and in our other offices in northern half of Missouri, People are building with overhangs, they're building with porches, they want cupolas, they want everything that you mentioned, a little rock and stuff like that, and it seems like they're willing to pay for
Hmm.
it. So really, it's kind of region specific for whatever reason. I don't know what that is, but then you also go along with some of the other options that are becoming a little more prevalent, especially the barndominiums. Miniums is board and batten side metal.
Hmm.
There's standing seam roof metal options. Um, some timber frame porches and just a lot of little details that don't cost that much, but it takes it from just a plain old box to something that is quite attractive.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's really hard, and that's the thing I've noticed over the past, oh, it's probably especially 15, 20 years, is the uh, the look of the building. You can't necessarily tell whether a building, in a lot of cases, is post frame or maybe more traditional block or stud wall or steel or whatever. Right?
Mhm.
It's you can get it just as nice as any other building out there, which has elevated that into the barndominium world, which is something that's probably the maybe the biggest hot button right now. Right?
Right, exactly. The barndominium thing is crazy. And it's a market that I'd say 5 years ago, we were trying to decide, do we say no or do we buy into it and just make it happen? Wholesale, dedicate salespersons, dedicate crews to it and just go for it. We decided to take the latter route. Best thing we ever did. And it's become a huge part of our company. We've got, multiple salespeople involved in it. We've got multiple crews that do it. We work with designers and architects to design these things. And then, like you said, you've got these high-end options that you can throw in there and dress it up. It goes from a barn to the barn dominium and can really be pretty high-end object. I mean, it's something that's really pretty cool anymore. And so we've decided to embrace it, and it's been a good thing for us. It's been a big driver of revenue for us, and we've established a pretty good name for them in this area. Um, and going forward, I think it's even going to continue to grow as we make a few more changes. We're looking to bring in an in-house architect and kind of have our own set of plans that we work off of. And a few little things like that to kind of help streamline the process and keep more of that stuff in-house.
So with the barn door for a minute, because we've had some barn door people on before that just do the design work and those kind of things. It's quite interesting. And a guy that does financing. Uh, they're easier to finance now than they used to. Are you finding and accepted by the code officials? Because we all know the advantage, right, of the clear span. Probably, you have no interior wall limitations at all, which is probably one of the big pluses. But entry to completion or time to completion is incredibly less than a traditionally constructed building. Um, is that becoming more acceptable with the banks and the code people and those as we do more of it as an industry?
Yeah, definitely. And we've actually hooked up with the bank that specializes in that. It might be the same guy you're talking about, but so we're connected with the bank that their information is on our website. You can link to their directly from our website. They have cracked the code, if you will, of farm dominion financing, and somehow they've figured out what we all knew, that this is going to be something that's going to last. It's not a flash in the pan.
Hmm.
It's going to be there for a while, and we've sent quite a few people to them with some good success that weren't able to get a loan elsewhere. So that part is pretty cool, making that connection. And then um, we also have what was the other question you asked?
Well, no, the
Like
co-
building codes and so on.
yeah.
Yes. So building codes, they have 5 years ago, back again, 5 to 7 years ago, they were like, well, we don't even know what this is.
Hmm.
So, they were not very receptive to the idea of building something like this. But that has changed along with the financing side. And now we've got to know the building codes, the inspectors, the county people that are involved. And it's really streamlined the process. They see the work we do. they see how it's built, and then they see how that whole process comes together, and they love it. I mean, it's turned into something quite something to work with along with the county and the officials and so on.
Sure. So in your organization, Built Right Buildings, do you guys handle? I'm assuming you sub some of the interior work and some of the other things. Are you like building the structure itself and then overseeing as a general all the balance of the trades, or are you employing your own trades to do a lot of that work?
So what we do is we sell the building. So we go in, we start with a level site. If the customer wants us to do excavation, we'll hook them up with an excavator. Typically, they'll have the site leveled. We come in and we do it two ways. We either do a pole barn on piers and then build from there, and we will do frost footing with 2x6 walls and just a traditional framing type, and then metal on the outside and a timber frame porch and metal roof. Um, and then we frame all the interior walls as well. So we'll get the building, walk with them through the design process, um, get the building built, get the interior walls framed, and then we turn it over to them. We're not the general in the whole project.
Okay.
We take it, we have a list of contractors that we recommend to them and people that we recommend that we've worked with over the years, that will do everything on the inside. We just don't take it and finish it ourselves.
Sure, sure. But you got people you can recommend, which is very helpful to a lot of these folks. And
Absolutely.
as Wes is scrolling your website right now, obviously you do a lot of ag buildings, you do horse buildings, you do backyard storage buildings, if you will, hobby sheds, whatever. Um, have you seen a transition? Obviously, Barndo's is big right now, so leave that one out of the picture for a minute. Um, have you seen a transition from ag to more backyard buildings, the other way around? Are both pretty strong right now? Where's the sweet spot right now in your world, or is there none? Are they all pretty equal for you?
It's I would say pretty equal, because we're kind of in the sweet spot here. We're an hour from Kansas City.
Hmm.
And we're in a farming community. We're an hour from Iowa, and Northwest Missouri, all of Northern Missouri, I guess, is it's a pretty big farming community. So we get both sides of it. We do a lot of little hobby horse farms, a little 30 by 50, 40 by 60 hobby shops in the Kansas City suburbs. We do a lot of 60 by 100, 60 by 120, 80 by 100, um, implement sheds. So we kind of got the whole lineup here where we're at, and it kind of goes by phases. Some years farmers do well, and that's the most what we do. Some years seems like the other side, day laborers and people from Kansas City that live outside of town, they're the ones that we're working for. And then we also have a lot of those people coming, people from town that come up here and buy hunting properties and build cabins, and they build a little shop on it, and
Hmm.
and so we get that side of the market as well.
Well, it's got to be a benefit to guys like yourselves to be so diversified in the type of builds you'll do because obviously markets trend, right? Sometimes ag
Right,
is strong, strong, strong. Other times it's not, but residential maybe. The equine world maybe. Barn dominiums obviously could be subject to trending. Uh, the good news is, barring an overall nationwide trending the wrong way, it's nice to be able to be into several have your feelers into several different areas because if one's up, one's down, and as opposed to just concentrating on, hey, we only do barn doors or we only do
right.
horse barns. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's nice to be. It's probably a little more solidifies your future if you're able to go with the market trends as opposed to letting them come to you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does really. And we've got, multiple crews that we could move back and forth across uh, these different types of buildings. So we haven't had it. I've owned the company for 12 years. We haven't really had any tough times that whole time. But, the future doesn't promise that. So it's good to have options going into, these uncertain times. where we can take crews and put them on different projects, and one side slows down and the other side picks up, and we can be ready for that to happen. So I think it gives us a great variety of things, and kind of insulates us from major downturns, if you will.
Yeah. And that's always a good place. I mean, you can only do the best you can, but there's no crystal balls. I'm going to ask you about a crystal ball in a minute, but there really are no crystal balls. So obviously, there's no right or wrong answer to this. But the industry's been strong. Uh, what are you seeing that strength still there right now? I mean, going through the fall, going into 2024, looking good in your part of the world.
It's pretty steady. There's been a little bit, I think there's a little slowdown, but it could also be seasonal because
Hmm.
we just had a harvest, and our ag customers, they're not going to be bidding buildings through the harvest season. So we always have a little slowdown over these September, October, November months. Could be that. Time will tell, but it's nothing major. It's basically just, our phone calls and our email quote requests have slowed down a bit. Um, but we still got work booked out for months, just
Do
like
you?
always.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and that, again, back to what we talked about earlier. You know, the seasonality. We talked about trends just in general, but the seasonality, as we know, especially in the north part of the world, right, where there's this thing called winter, and and it's. I think the seasonality affects the type of building too a little bit, right? You got your vacation cabin that somebody builds. You've got the little hobby barns. You got some of those things, a little more residential, if you will. You're going to probably see a little bit of that lull in the summertime when the kids are out of school. People want to go vacation. They don't have the winter is still a ways away, so there's no pressure in their mind yet that we need to do something. And of
Mhm.
course, like you just mentioned with the ag, you've got really kind of two seasons that get in the way a little bit there, right? You got planting season early, and then you've got real strong in between, and then you got the harvest time. So, and they there's some crossover in time, but probably a little bit in my experience, uh, it sort of ebbs and flows a little less than it could, right? Because of the fact of the crossover is there, but not super great. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Right. Yeah, I agree 100%. Um, it's because of our diversity in this business and across the board, and because of the area we're in, we're kind of insulated from those major swings just because of what you just mentioned. It seems like, when that springtime planting season, fall harvest, it seems like that slack is kind of picked up by other people that are maybe getting ready for winter, like you mentioned. Someone from Kansas City might be thinking about doing something in the fall. Someone in the farming community, they summer or winter, they're thinking about doing it. So it's kind of levels itself out, and it works out well. It really does. I mean,
Yeah,
our sales guys are never sitting around twiddling their thumbs. I can
that's
guarantee
good.
that.
Well, that's
Yeah,
good.
we,
That says a lot of.
yeah, we've been in northern Missouri since '97. So we've been here. The names here, people know us, and we're typically one they're gonna call to get quotes. So
Love it.
there's
It's
never a lack of things to do.
That's awesome. So you're kind of the you this is going to date me, and you are at an age that this may not even mean anything to you. So this may be a stupid statement, but you got Built Right has kind of developed the image out there, the name I should say out there of the older lady that used to be Wendy's lady. Where's the beef? No, wasn't that? I think it was Wendy's. Where's the beef? You're kind of where's the beef of post frame building in Missouri, right?
So, not to come, not to brag, but we've made a pretty good name for ourselves.
But yeah, but it's true. It's true. It's not bragging if it's true. You can brag.
Well, yeah, I think Will Rogers said that whenever he says it's mark it down.
That's right. Exactly. So we talked about how you got started. And I know the answer to this because I can tell by the passion and when we've talked before that you have for the industry. But uh, the absolute right decision for Mark Byler, right, to be in the post frame world. I mean, what an industry! What great people! The customers are great. The suppliers are great. The contractors are great. The associations, which I'd be remiss if I didn't mention one that's near and dear to my heart, the National Frame Builders Association, and the local chapters around the country. It's just what a great industry and a great group of people, right?
Small people, right? I mean, as opposed, compared to other industries, you almost can know almost everybody in this industry when it comes to the association and so on. So that's kind of cool. It's really it's nice to be a part of something that has that community feel to them. And there's competition definitely, but the people in my area that we build against, or quote against, I should say, uh, we have a good relationship with
Mm-hmm.
most of them, and it's a respectful relationship, and it's a cool industry, and it's a growing industry, which is also cool to be a part of. It's cool to be part of something that is in the barn dominium world, especially that's still pretty cutting edge and still has a lot of growing left to do, and cool to be along and see where it's going to take us.
Exactly. So you had mentioned also earlier, um, you have multiple locations, and you said mostly all Missouri. Or did you say there's one in Iowa? I forget. I should knew that, but I don't.
No, we have no, it's all Missouri.
All
We
Missouri.
go into
Okay,
Iowa. Yeah, so
gotcha.
we go into we have an office in Neosho, Missouri, which is down by Joplin.
Okay,
We have the office here in Winston, Missouri, which is north of Kansas City. We have a sales guy with an office in Brookfield, North Central, and then we have an office in Blue Springs, which is just east of Kansas City.
okay,
But we build in Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas as well.
gotcha. So you're not afraid to travel a little bit. That's a good. You can
No, no,
bring built right wherever the customer is, right?
that's right, exactly right.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm going to probably see you in a well, it's a few months, but it goes fast. February or March, whenever it is, we'll be in Des Moines for the NFBA show, right? Together. I assume you'll
Definitely,
be there.
definitely. I plan on it, and that you mentioned the the National Frame Building Association. We just joined about a month ago, so
Oh,
excited
great.
about
Welcome.
that, and to see what that how we can work together in the future.
Yeah. It's incredibly good to be involved in associations in your industry. I think I feel like you have to involve yourself and give back where you live, right? And we live in this industry, and I think anybody that, and this goes for anything in life. Not going to get overly philosophical, but if all you do is take and you never give, sooner or later you're going to stop receiving the benefits of said industry, whatever it is, right? And I think if you just give without a lot of expectations, other than you'll get way more back than you ever give, and if you just assume that, accept that, and just go give to the community, give to the organization, give to the association, and I found that over the years, I go back so far that I used to go to two shows a year. There's I think we call it the Rural Builder Show and the Frame Builder Show, if I'm not mistaken. But it's two different shows, so that goes way back in the day. And I just found that the more involvement I can get personally in anything going on in the industry, uh, just it comes back in tenfold, right?
Well, yeah, and it's like anything else. Relationships is where it's at, right?
Mm-hmm.
Networking relationships and an opportunity to give back. I'm with you 100%. It feels good to give,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it's a way to give back by joining these organizations, networking with them, and just getting together. I was together with the Heartland chapter here, a month or so ago. First time I'd done that, so I got to meet some of those guys and just kind of network and throw ideas back and forth and ultimately learn more about the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that's invaluable, which is what, one of the reasons I joined the NFBA is for that exact experience is to, I have experience in the world and there's, 100 other guys that have experience in different areas. And by joining this organization, hopefully we can all learn from them.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. No, you're spot on. So, as we kind of wind down, because you've been incredibly kind with your time, should ask questions. What did we miss today that maybe you're sitting there going for the last 15 minutes. Well, Randy, shut up talking and ask me this. As we kind of wrap it up, what's Mark Byler want us all to know about Built Right Buildings, about the industry, uh, the world? Give us the world according. There should be a thing, a movie or show or something. World according to Garp. We'll do the world according to Mark. That's 4 letters and 4 letters. That'll work, right?
So, that's a good question. Yeah, I think from our standpoint, from my standpoint, where we are today as a company, we're always looking to grow and always looking for new market space and the world, according to me, I would say is I still see opportunity out there. I think it might be a little tougher for a little bit, but I still see opportunity. I still see markets that are open. Um, I still see people that want a quality building for a fair price. Um, and so, going forward, we're continuing to look for that. And I think there's room for everybody out there. I think there's room. Competition is great. We've got good competitors. Um, I don't want any more people in the market than necessary, but
Right.
or more people in the business than necessary. But the competition keeps us honest. Um, so going forward, and we're just going to keep trying to grow and keep trying to see what options open up for us. And our goal is to um, start a new location every year, new office, a new salesperson, a new crew.
Wow.
So we've been the last several years we've made that happen, and moving forward, I think it can still happen. I think there's still a lot of space out there for this to continue to happen. So I'm just looking forward to the future.
Yeah.
It's exciting for me, and the past 12 years have been great. I'm looking forward to the next 12 years.
Well, that's exciting to hear about the growth, and it's exciting to see people looking forward as opposed to setting back, going, I'm not going to do anything because this thing may implode, everything may be bad, everything may be terrible. A lot of there's a lot of philosophical theories, right? With another show, another day, but you do get what you think about, right? To a large degree. I mean, we can't control certain things, obviously, but we can control our own mindset. And your mindset is controlled, but to grow, positive, going to build a future. We're going to keep doing what we do. And see, you will get what you plan for. Hiccups, maybe, bumps, maybe. But the one thing I know for sure, if you have a bad attitude and you're just setting back in survival mode, or you're looking for the one thing, and we all have this issue, and I guard against it too sometimes, even though I'm a pretty positive guy. But if you head out today and look for a problem, you're going to find it, right? You'll just find it.
Every time.
Every time. I just go out and look for opportunities because there's a funny thing about those too. You still find them. And the funny thing with that, Mark, is when you go out and you're an opportunist, and I don't mean that as in a negative taking advantage of people, but if you're an opportunist or an opportunity seeker and you go out always looking for on a head on a swivel, right? What's the opportunity out here? What am I looking for? What am I missing? What could I take? What could I do? Uh, you not only do you find them because they're there, but you're probably going to find other people's because they were too negative to even see they existed. They're probably standing right next to them, and all you got to do is reach over and I'll take that one if you're not interested, right?
Yeah, funny thing is, opportunity and a problem can often be the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just our viewpoint. That's we had a guy come in and talk to our company here recently, and I would recommend anybody listening to him or reading his book. Uh, his name's Thomas Blackwell, and he was talking about that exact things as positive speaking, positive thinking. Uh, I can look at something as a problem, an issue, or I can look at it as an opportunity for growth.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that because you guarantee you're going to have issues probably every day in this business, whether it's with customers or employees or whoever. But you can look at them as an issue that's going to slow you down, or you can look at it as an opportunity to make you become a better person and grow. And the next time that issue comes up, you know how to deal with it, and you move on with life. And then, like you said, also, I mean, start every day looking for opportunities because man, there's so many of them out there.
Oh
If you're
yeah.
willing to work, if you're an honest person, if you have integrity and you're willing to work for it, the sky's the limit,
Ex-
guaranteed.
Exactly. Exactly. So get up every day and look for wins to build upon, right? And that's the other
That's
thing
right.
about wins that I love. I love. There's a reason why this podcast called Building Wins. One is for the building industry, but it's way more than that. All life, right? You build wins every day. You build business wins, sales wins, health and fitness win, personal relationship wins, spiritual wins. All wins. Weird theory, and then I'll let you go. Is that I think there's this big cauldron or this virtual win pile as I look at, and you just keep throwing new wins on. Small wins, little wins, big wins. It doesn't matter whether it's a spiritual win or a win with your wife or a win with your kid or a win with one of your sales guys or a win with a customer. It doesn't matter. I don't think wins know the difference. They just compound with each other and wins just keep growing. And the more you throw them on, the more you just keep winning in all aspects of life, right?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And it works both ways. You pessimistic attitude, you build on those. Positive attitude, you build on those. And I love that too. It's just,
Exactly.
man, it's like it's a snowball effect, is what it is.
Sure it is. And we don't want to be Linus. Isn't it Linus from Snoopy, the guy that walks around with the cloud over his head all the time? Woe is me kind of guy, you know? I think it's Linus. I don't know. I'm not a big Snoopy fan, but um,
Right.
uh, other than when he wore the goggles and the Red Baron scarf, that was always cool. But but you're so right. You tend to find what you seek, right? And if you seek positive and opportunities, you're probably going to find them. And if you're seeking negatives and problems and everything, yeah, you'll probably find those too. So, anyways, Mark, again, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you. I appreciate the friendship, getting to know you better, and look forward to spending time in Des Moines if we don't end up somewhere together before. Uh, and just thanks for being a great steward of the industry, man, because you guys do it right. And I love the industry, and I love to associate with guys like yourselves that just do quality work with quality people, take care of customers, integrity based, and that's what Built Right Buildings, which that name fits pretty well, right? That's what you guys are about. So I appreciate what you do.
Thank you, Brandon, also, and thanks for the opportunity to be on here. It's I count it an honor to have you as a friend and an opportunity to speak about the industry with someone who's been in it for so long, and it's priceless. And I thank you for the opportunity.
Anytime, I'm always here if you need me. Phone call away.
All right.
All right,
Thank
thank you,
you.
brother. Be
Yep.
good. Cheers. All right.
Later.
All right. There you go. Mark Byler, Built Right Buildings out in Missouri, growing, making stuff happen. If you're anywhere in those states or surrounding Missouri and you need a building, I can guarantee you this guy's a good dude, good people. Reach out to him. That's it for today. Thank you again, as always, for joining Building Wins Live. We really do love what we do and do what we love. We try to go out and live it, love it, own it every single day. And you know what? Go make today your best day ever. Till tomorrow. Cheers, my friends.